I can tell this one's gonna hurt my ego. Average male height in Europe as of 2022. Now, this will be presented in centimeters, but I will be translating it for all the Americans as well. For reference, 6 feet is 182 centimeters. That's like the goal of every man right there. Something that I fell far, far below. So Sweden as a country is sitting on average at 6 foot for all the males, and the rest of the Nordic countries, the Baltics, and just a lot of Northern Europe is kind of just below that. The two tallest countries, though, come from the Netherlands, which isn't a surprise if you hear the stereotypes, and interestingly, Bosnia. I've never heard that they were that tall in Bosnia. So on average, these males are above 6 feet. Life is not fair. Weird how there's perfect synergy between Ireland, the UK, France, and Italy, all at 177, which is only 5 feet and 8 inches. The shortest kids on the block, though, happen to be Portugal and Turkey, both at 174. I feel like there's somewhat of a pattern. Why is Northern Europe so much taller than Southern Europe? Well, I guess Bosnia and a lot of the Balkans is the outlier. Serbia's at 183. No wonder the Vikings scared the crap out of the British Isles so much. They were literally giants. All right, I'm tired of talking about this. It's too depressing. But I guess you could say I'm something of Portuguese myself. Population density map of Africa. Now, I've seen stuff like this many times, but why am I so surprised this time around seeing the amount of people around these two lakes in like Tanzania area? Also, Rwanda and Uganda. Has this region of Africa had like a population boom recently? I know I've heard Rwanda as the possible future Singapore of this continent. Maybe this is why. Although it could just be a fresh water thing around Lake Victoria, as well as like the Nile River. Obviously, everyone talks about this strange snake. You squint hard enough, this looks like Vietnam, kind of. Nigeria is predicted to be one of the largest countries by population within the next century, so this isn't too shocking to see so much over here. Figured there'd be a lot more in South Africa, though. Someone animated this old 1911 map of Crater Lake National Park, which I've actually been there. It's pretty amazing. It is beautiful. It is beautiful seeing such a flat map get like renditioned into this almost, is it 3D? I don't think it's like 3D exactly. Well, maybe it is. It's insane what people can do nowadays. It confirms how maps can be art. This whole thing was formed by the collapse of a volcano, and the lake was only formed about 7,000 years ago. It's actually the deepest lake in all of the US. I didn't even know that. Somewhere here in Oregon. I just know when I was like 13 when I came here for the first time, I wanted to swim to this little island. Wizard Island, I guess. That makes it even better. Top Googled countries every month time-lapse in the continent of Europe. I gave him a shout out, but if you haven't already, definitely go sub to this channel. You deserve so much more. So I like this one specifically because whenever I see this same map, but with the 50 US states, it's usually Canada and Mexico that just dominate because we only have like 2 land neighbors. But here in 2005, we can see that most of Europe is just researching the US, which might be a theme for the next like 15 years. But there's gonna be different times, especially like recent times, where I'm sure other countries are gonna pop up. I love that this is being shown so far back, like 2006 data. Kind of curious to see if interest in the US is slowly gonna decline. I would assume so. Now here's the start of, I think, the financial crisis. People really care as much? Are they going to start to look more internally? Portuguese always Google Brazil. Not a surprise there. They still have a good relationship with their son or daughter. A lot of countries that border Russia are Googling Russia, unsurprisingly. Turkey randomly Googling Japan. There's so many different theories behind like the random interest in countries all over the place. We have the Brazilian World Cup, so a lot of people were Googling Brazil. Ukraine 2014 because of the whole Crimea thing. Then Greece going into debt. Greece becoming a really popular topic in 2015. I kind of wish I did videos, like my videos back in 2015. So many interesting topics I could have covered. I don't even remember what I was doing in 2015. Donald Trump wins election and the US completely take over the continent briefly, but only for like a month. We have a lot of interest in France, Germany, Russia, still, of course. Yeah, every country that like borders Germany now. So I'm starting to notice like the big countries, Germany getting a lot of search results from neighboring countries, Russia as well. Croatia was popular for a second there because of the World Cup. Turkey Googles some strange ones. I don't know why. Like I saw New Zealand pop up for a second there. I guess Turkey's like in the center of the world. They got a lot of interests. Oh, the virus is going to throw everything out of whack. So it hit Italy first. Everyone was Googling Italian stuff, and there's definitely a lot less interest in the US, that's for sure, in 2021. It still pops up occasionally, and now that's kind of what I expected. But then again, I don't know if I expected this much. Did we ever see like a country besides the US completely take over the continent? This is incredible. Here's a 36-hour heat map of our place, which I covered in a video earlier this week, and see where a lot of the activity was taking place. You can also kind of make out like which communities were drawing the most attention. Man, too bad I didn't have this this when I was trying to figure out what I should draw. Could have been really useful, like, oh, no one's in this zone. Let's see if we can get something right there. And then the chaos when the canvas expanded. Wow, I'm glad they did that. Wait, what is this? The history of the fastest cannonball runs by vehicle? The Cannonball Run is an illegal race on public roads where the goal is to make it fastest between Los Angeles and New York. The y-axis is showing hours, x-axis is showing the time. Wow, they've been doing it for like 100 years? Now, according to Google, by car, it would take you 42 hours in 2022. Again, our cars have gotten better. Also to note, the infrastructure has probably gotten better. This would be very difficult to do in like 1910, which explains why it took this poor guy 280 hours back then. But they really got the time down like 5 years later by just using motorcycles. Until once again, the orange representing a gas car in the 1930s. They came out of nowhere to beat the motorcycles, doing the race in under 60 hours. Look at the first electric car finally doing that, and that was back, is that 1969? That is incredible. Didn't even know we had those back then. But you can see the race was really between gas cars and motorcycles as of the last several decades. Up until 2010, where it's just become complete chaos. I love that the first autonomous vehicle did it somehow, and that was, what, in 220 hours? That is amazing. Oh wait, is it doing it even better? That was just a really bad one. There was someone that was doing it way better. How are gas cars beating motorcycles though? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Are they not like doing the lane splitting? Like, I know they do that in California. Can they not do that? Well, it's illegal race. I don't know why they wouldn't do that. How are electric cars doing this as well? Like, how do they have that sort of charge? They've really creeped up on all the other vehicles though. By the way, and this dot is an electric motorcycle. That did it for the first time recently. How in the hell did this gas car in 2020 do it in almost 22 hours? How did he cut this in half almost? I want to watch a documentary about this. There's got to be a really good documentary out there talking about this. Oh, during the lockdowns, it made it significantly easier. I guess this is controversial. Biggest grapefruit producers. Why? Okay, the US is #1 in 2008, but then China comes out of nowhere with like over a third of, wait, they're even more than that, 44% of the grapefruit production. 50%. Why are they making so many grapefruits? US has really dropped a lot. Look at Vietnam go though as well. In 2020, yeah, China's at 53%. Why? I don't know. I'm glad to be learning about this information. I wouldn't have known it otherwise. Only time I've literally ever bought a grapefruit was because I thought it was an orange, and I'm sad to say that happens way too often. This was a map posted on April Fool's Day. What if southern Netherlands and northern France formed a country? This is such a ridiculous idea. Imagine forming some sort of weird Frankenstein nation like this. Hilarious how that would never happen. Population, 12 million. Language, every half year a different language, starting with, yeah, just, it doesn't matter. National animal, the pony, and this would be a good flag that they could do. And you know what? Just to embrace even more chaos, how about put it as like the capital of the European Union? Why not make it such a focus point of the European Union? That'd make things even more funny. Just how ridiculous would that be? Now, I'm sure this is going to start some arguments in the comments, but this is a map showing every territory the Greeks and their predecessors have ever controlled. It is Greece at their widest extent, and I knew about a lot of this, but not others. So I guess they're saying Byzantium is a successor state, or the Roman Empire is a successor state. Is that how they're doing this? Ooh, yeah, okay, definitely take this whole thing with a grain of salt. Still fun to think about though, and the Greeks did take a lot that, you know, no one else can argue, but you can really push it here with different definitions, I suppose. Another reminder why so many Italians live in the northern part of the country. This is like the flattest area they can go. Of course, they border the Alps and Switzerland. I kind of forget their border with France is so mountainous as well though. Just not quite as crazy as this other stuff. But all down the peninsula, there are mountains kind of dividing the eastern and western sides. Then there's Mount Vesuvius, stay away from that. Oh, also, this is probably why so many people are on the heel of the boot and not the actual like foot part. Then there's Sicily, which I figured population was going to remain along the coastline there. Sardinia actually looks more habitable than most of the island of Sicily, but I've actually never checked that. Who has more population? Oh, nope. Even though the islands are roughly the same size, there's like 3.5 million more people living on Sicily. Probably just it's closer to the peninsula. It's easier to get over there. Didn't realize that these two are the largest islands in the Mediterranean though. Italy controls both of them, and Sicily is #1. The Russian invasion of Ukraine as of only a few days ago. I haven't been paying attention too closely to these maps recently, but it looks like things have changed a lot. I know I've been reading reports about how Russian forces have left Kyiv, but it looks like they've left a lot of northern Ukraine, mostly focused on the region a lot of people predicted, which is obviously the eastern side here. I've personally been watching this front across the Dnieper River. I wonder what they're going to do with this. Do they stay there or do they leave there as well? Going to predict their plans are just going to try really hard to hold this. This is what they said was the whole point of everything, right? I wonder if they were using the invasion of this capital here just to scare them or distract them from this front? Or did they legitimately think they were going to take it and negotiate some sort of early peace? And then there were all the weird air raids they did in cities all the way in the west. I think it's fair to say that fear campaign didn't really go the way they thought it would. Here's quite possibly an even more updated map. This shows that most, if not all, the Russian divisions have completely left this region. They still hold this territory for now, which, like I said, I really want to know what they're going to do with this. Purple shows the territory which was occupied before February 24th, before all this began, and then red is showing what they got afterwards, which is not as much as they had like a week ago. All this has just been so crazy. 21 most dangerous foods in the world. Number 1, the pufferfish. This might be the only thing that I kind of figured was going to be on this list. It is a delicacy in Japan, but if it isn't prepared properly, it can paralyze and asphyxiate a human. Yeah, they got to go through like 3 years of training in order to be able to prepare this meal. Didn't know anyone was eating giant bullfrogs, but I guess Namibia is. Also consumed whole, and they could cause kidney failure. The ackee is a national fruit of Jamaica, and it is very dangerous. It's basically a poison that can cause vomiting. Yep, knew about this like literal raw rotting shark that they eat in Iceland. Blood clams in China. Ugh, just saying that out loud messes with me. Baby octopus in Korea. Those are dangerous because of their tentacles. They can accidentally grip the inside of a diner's throat and choke them. Whoa! Here's some Sardinian soft cheese made of sheep's milk. Hasa marzu. Oh yeah, I've heard of this. Not enough times for me to be able to pronounce it correctly, but I've still heard of it. Poisonous jellyfish, a weird fish in Egypt. Wait, raw cashews are bad? Unbeknownst to most, the raw cashews we're familiar with have been steamed to remove a deadly chemical. What? Also apricot seeds? I don't know if I'm gonna want to eat anything after this. Now I'm like just super paranoid. Wait, hot dogs. Hold up. Hot dogs are a huge choking hazard, and they are responsible for about 17% of choking deaths in children younger than 10. I choked on a hot dog when I was like 7. This is crazy. I was at Disneyland and like I threw up all over my plate. As a real story. Did not think I was going to be reading the top 21 most deadliest foods and see hot dogs, but that is the one that I have the most experience with. And big thanks to Drew's sexy girlfriend,
young waifu,
I stole Drew's pet dog,
Argentinian grandpa,
AryanAfterHours,
aPhatNarwhal,
Alex Whitley is Mega
Barnsky
W,
W,
Canadian
Ball,
Union,
Fat
Gaming
Nuts,
Candy Cane, 7889,
LuxembourgLover,
Majestic Unicorn,
Max Cooper,
Mimoshiki,
Nora the Bold,
Ortin
Free Smiling Lovers,
Philipp RF,
Robert
RyeThePie,
the Mexican 760.
And why am I doing this?